You can actually make $12,000 in 2 hours when you just learn this skill, when you actually learn how to day trade effectively and manage your trades. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Six Figure Trading Coach channel, where we do these nice little public swing trading system trade ideas and reviews with me, Jenny Baker. Of course, we have to give a brief disclaimer that says trading is high risk, okay? Of course, don't risk more than you can afford to lose. You can follow simpler, kind of slower or lower risk styles right alongside me, doing the same thing I'm doing as time goes on. So, before we go any further, of course, I want to define kind of a pip. We know that a pip and a point is all different from broker to broker, but we're using kind of some roundabout averages, using a $10 average per standard lot size to show you what this monetary value actually is worth. And when we say 12,000 pips, that means in those 2 hours worth of videos, 2 hours worth of your time, that's like $122,000 using a standard lot size, depending on the pair, and even $1,200 or $12,000, depending on the size of your lots and the pairs that you're trading, the broker that you're using, that we've accomplished to do live on YouTube, showing you what's possible with the right management, with the right skill set, and all that other good jazz. So let's go take a look at how we've done, and then we're going to review the trades we looked at 2 weeks ago, and then I'm going to look at a couple of more coming up for the next couple of weeks. First things first, I have to acknowledge that on my last video, I made a public mistake. So remember, this gets pretty janky when you go from broker to broker and lot size to lot size. All of these fields get really, really easily messed up, right? So the numbers we showed last time were not including the actual, information. Remember, for the most part, the smallest lot size you're going to have is 10 cents per pip. And that's typically on Forex pairs only, unless you're trading micro lots. Obviously, that's 10, so that's 10 cents per pip. This is $1 per pip, for example, not this category over here. $3 a pip, for example, $5 a pip, and $10 a pip, just so you know where those math is coming from. But let's take a second, look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is what we've done. 20-minute calls approximately every 2 weeks, first and third Tuesday of every month, using a really easy-to-use simplicity trend trading system. It's actually a reversal-based system, if you will. That's all we're doing. Nothing super, super fancy. You don't have to know all this stuff. It does help, obviously, being able to pick and choose. Definitely does help to have some information, some skill set, but all of the way we're managing is already predefined and already completely duplicatable, not subjective, not open for interpretation. It's all there. So you can follow along with these trades that we're looking at in a demo or paper trading account. If you don't have one yet, please make sure you click on the link tree that should be in the very top of my description. Pick any of those brokers. Hugo's Way and AFX are my go-to for most things. Henko and MV are my secondary ones, of course, and then there's LQD, and all of the crypto wallets that I use are also in there. But go, set up a paper trading, a demo trading account, use those links, and just see what you can accomplish, see what you can follow through. So, obviously, really ugly week. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is not meant to promote or anything in any way. It's meant to show you that you can learn the skill for yourself with good management and just duplicatable rules. Technically, this gold trade would have been a plus 50, but I took a loss personally, so I'm leaving that as a loss, mostly because I did not protect it and I did not automatically manage it in any way. Needless to say, horrible week. That's a 75% losing ratio. Talk about being authentic, right? Talk about being what the other people aren't showing. This is over the big picture. This is over time, right? So we've got next week, obviously, perfect week. Not a whole bunch of pips, but that's an index. That's why. Not a bunch of pips here. We didn't get activated on most of them. Took 1 loss and 2 baby wins. Not a lot going on. We had a lot in news going fundamentally and news-wise, really shaking the markets up, and that has really come to fruition now in the last 2 weeks. Now we've seen some major moves in the market. So, of course, this was a huge week. This index alone is worth a fortune, as you know. For the guys who trade it all, this is worth actually a lot more per pip than just $10. These are Forex pairs that are not US based, so they're worth a little bit less. And this, if we're actually counting the pips, is technically 10,540 pips. But I'm going to go ahead and round that down and divide it by 10 because the pip value on this is only 54 cents per pip. So we're going to go ahead and drop a digit and keep it at 1,000. That's how many pips that we accomplished live together in 20 minutes approximately from last Tuesday's call. I went ahead and started to kind of just spruce this up a little bit. Our average win to loss ratio is about 8.2 to 1. Not a bad way to be, and you can see that here. Our accuracy is not great, but with a number this high, who really cares? This is going to continue to hopefully improve as we have a larger scale, and this will inevitably go down. Inevitably, we're not going to stay that high at the end of the year. These numbers on the side here are based off of 4 weeks at 2 hours. Okay, so they're a total of 2 hours because each week is about 20-30 minutes or so. It's actually a little bit less, but we're kind of rounding down a little bit. I guess you'd say rounding up more accurately. This is 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. That's 1 hour, an hour and 20 minutes. That's it. That's all the time that this took all together. So it's not even 2 whole hours. That's how much this is worth per hour. So the amount of pips we got, if you failed at this by 50%, you still made, based off of one of the smallest lot sizes, over $1,200. Based off of the average lot size, you made about $12,000. And if you failed at that by 50%, you still made $6,000 in an hour and a half of your time. That is life-changing for many people. Please understand that this industry can pay you literally 6 figures in a month, 6 figures in a couple of weeks. Obviously, you need the skill set for that. You need the account size to be able to manage stuff like that. But that's what's at your fingertips. That's what we have here. So I'm obviously excited. Real quick, I will show you what we're accomplishing in our private group. Let me minimize this a little bit more. I really should, actually. It's going to be too hard to see, isn't it? So this is for last week. We got over 25,000 pips and 26,000 pips. These were 2 of our biggest weeks ever. We're on track to potentially have the largest month we've had, gosh, and I think altogether since we've been doing this tracking. Take a look at this. Now, most of these are index pips, so the average lot size on this is going to be about $1 per pip, which means if you caught that, just in this year alone with our morning classes, that's over $149,000. Is the smallest amount of money you've made. If you failed at this by 50%, you still made over $80,000. Just to factor in some of the, the metals and the Forex. Most of this is index, so they're, for the most part, across the board, all $10. We know that to be the case. Still, that's crazy, right? Our average accuracy is 93% live. These are all done recorded and together. Management, again, is already predefined. And our average win to loss ratio is 6-1. Not a bad way to be. So the purpose of these calls is to show you this nice little swing trading system, but mostly to show you that you and anybody else you know can do this skill and change your entire life. So let's go take a look. We've got these trades to review. That's a lot. And then we've got quite a few to look at today, so we're going to kind of pick and choose and then go from there. From here, we're going to come back to the table the first week of April and see how these played out. So without further ado, let's go see what the charts are telling us. Alrighty, so here we are. We know that all of the ones we looked at from that spreadsheet and that we looked at 2 weeks ago today were USD MEX, CAD JPY, Euro JPY, CAD GBP JPY, and UK 100. Those are all the trades we looked at from, 2 weeks ago. And then today's new trade ideas are all of these. Please notice they're heavily USD based. So we're going to have to be kind of mindful. Starting with here, let's take a look real quick. We were looking on 3.7, so let's take a look. So 3.7 here, which is actually 3.8 MTC time. So here's where we were at and around where we were looking. Of course, we pulled down. We came within range, right? There's structure plus that 50 pip ATR, that one ATR. Look how many pips this actually got. Over 10,500, 10,600 actually underneath this nice little fancy button we've got here. Not a bad way to be. That's obviously beautiful. This doesn't have a high pip value, but it's a great overall trade. It played out perfectly. Let's see. Remove this drawing. Clear this from the board. We are done with this trade. We're not looking back at it for today. Next, we've got CAD JPY. Here's where we're at. We knew we wanted a bit of a pullback. We were looking in and around this range from where we were. So that's 3.7, 3.8. Check this out. We've moved over 450-ish pips, right? Look at that. 455 pips. All together, all live, all completely accessible by you. Not a bad way to be. Never came up. Here's our structure, plus a 1 hour ATR. Never came in range. 450 pips. Remember, at $10 a pip, what does that equal? At your smallest possible lot size, what does that equal? That one is done. So it's a lot of money on the table. Euro JPY is next. Again, there was a lot of JPY pairs that we were looking at. We know the time frame that we were looking was 3.7 to 3.8 on our chart. That's in this range. We do face a pullback, but first we hit that, 90-ish pips, pulled back, came all the way down for over 563 pips in total. Beautiful trade. Again, do your own math. What does that equal at 10 cents a pip? Which again, this video took about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I say again one more time. 20 minutes. What does it equal if you have $1 per lot? $1, not one standard lot size, per pip equals what? That's an insane amount of money. Next, we've got GBPJPY on our list. Here we go. We do have a pullback. That's quite a bit of pips. Again, a pullback, quite a bit of pips, all within kind of this area. We did eventually come all the way down to that 351-ish pips. Not bad at all. So we knew we were waiting for a pullback. We knew what we were looking for exactly. We even marked it up with our little blue baby line on the screen. And overall, this one played out exactly like we wanted it to. And I'm super, super happy. Very profitable trade. And that one we are done with. Actually, I wouldn't mind taking a look for a buy, but we've already kind of moved a lot. Last but not least is our index. Indices is where I seem to do the very best. So this is 6,877 pips. Very minimal drawdown. Very minimal drawdown, if any. About 500 pips in total. That's incredible. So this, again, has a higher dollar rate per pip. This is worth an awful lot per pip. So that means per standard lot times 6,800. Is that what we said? 6,800? 6,800, 6,900 in that range times 12, right? That's a lot of money. A lot of money, guys. A whole bunch. So please do consider learning this. Do consider putting these on your paper trading, your demo trading accounts, and just follow along. Just do this part-time and buy the freedom back. Get the financial freedom so you can go follow the passions you have, so you can go follow your bleeding heart syndrome, so you can go kind of do whatever it is your heart is called to do and make the differences you want to make, because this is all accessible to you and it's not even that complicated. Most people overcomplicate it and then they get their butts handed to them. They follow every darn thing on the internet and they're like, why doesn't it work? It's because you're hopping around so much, you don't learn one thing, but that's it. So those are all the trade reviews that we have, and now we're going to come back to GU. So here's where we're at. I, of course, am already in this. First things first, we've got our nice little simplicity trade idea right there. So here's where we got this signal. We have yet to get the continuation, which for those of you guys who know me know that I'm really looking for that. We have pulled back, giving us a really good entry. So assuming we enter literally right now, figure your stop loss is what, 70 pips plus a 1 hour ATR. My take profit, the minimum I'm looking for is about 150 pips. You're still better than a 2-to-1. Overall, though, if I pop around a little bit, I think we have a little bit more room than that. So impulse, correction, impulse, looking for just a slightly more dynamic correction. So I don't mind if we pull the way up into here and then come down. I think overall it's a good trade, but you're going to have to decide. So before we move around all the different trade ideas, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these are USD based. So pick and choose which one you want. Don't take all of these 4 USD based, because that's going to eat up your account. You're over leveraged for her currency, and that's not a good way to be. If you do decide to take this, let's zoom in a little bit. Here's where we're at. We broke through the 50. We came back down to retest the 50, and we're still sitting up in this range. So what I'm going to do is, this was a nice little gap area. I'm going to go ahead and put this in this area. I'm going to mark our little line up. Make it red and dotted. Perforated, if I can say that word right, perforated, to say, hey, when price breaks below here, I'm taking this as a sell. You have a couple of options. You can do it at this fractal, okay, so it's totally up to you on how and when you want to do it. To me, because I understand the waves of the market and I'm pretty comfortable with this trade idea, I wouldn't mind having a slightly earlier entry, just so I have an opportunity to collect those 50 pips that I'm going to lock at anyways, but ultimately it's up to you. So my first choice would be right here, but to stay true to form, we also have all the way, come on silly butt, down here. So when price breaks this low, that's saying, hey, I'm going to let it fool around a little bit. I did not want it to land there. Kind of attach the bodies of those candles. When price breaks here, cool. I know I'm just going to collect within 50 pips. So totally up to you on that. But overall, great potential trade idea. That is trade idea number 1. USDCAD is next. I'm going to zoom out and make this a little bit ugly. We already caught much of this impulse. I caught it really, really low this morning, once again in class. Let me stop making you dizzy. Sorry. And of course, one more time. Right now we pulled back. We've got exactly what we're looking for. So for me, for this one, I'm looking for a buy. I'm going to go ahead and put it literally right where price is at. I'm not waiting. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and make it green for buy. Looking for the buy. And I'm going to make it solid, meaning not pending, as in. Active entry from the second you watch this. If it's a better price, you're in a better position. If it's a worse price, if it's too much, be careful. So you know that we're going to break through, and we don't want to be too late on this trade. But overall, same kind of concept. If this is our low, we made a nice spring this morning. Let's take a look. Here's our low at 76-ish pips, makes it about 90 to 100 pip stop loss. Here's 100 pips, 1-to-1, easy, but protecting that 50 pips, which we know is what we're doing, all within reason. So we've got another double bottom, and we've got a simplicity trade idea. Got a lot of reason to say, hey, we've got some potential to look for this buy. A forever buy? No, I don't think so, because I think we've got some more room to this downside. Here's where we're at on the daily. A lot of wicks to the upside, a lot of vectoring to the upside. So I don't think this is going to be a big, long-term buy, as much as many people I'm sure are hoping, but I think there's enough room here to go get some of these pips off the table on that more swing trade midterm buy. So that's a buy. USDJPY, also same concept, looking for a buy. Here's where we're at. We did get our continuation, and currently we're in a better position. So same kind of concept. I'm going to go ahead and stay true to form, put this at the fractal, make this perforated or dotted. I like the word dotted better. It's less of a tongue twister. I'm going to zoom out really, really big so you guys can see the whole picture. Let me solidify that line so I don't accidentally move it around. Here's where we're currently at. All the way down to structure, you're still looking about, what is this, 216, so 250. Into just this range, we're at close to that 1-to-1. Not quite. But overall, I'm looking for us to come retest up into this area. You're looking for more like a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Not a bad way to be at all. So great potential trade set up here. I would definitely consider letting this pull back a bit. Let it confirm. And what that pullback is going to look like is something like this. So let it pull back. Let it give you the confirmation. And that confirmation can be on a smaller time frame, but then trade it back up into this area. So we'll see. We'll see how this one plays out. I want a bit more of a pullback, not because it's super expensive or because it's moved a whole bunch, but I want the pullback for the confirmation, because right now we're still just kissing that level. We don't have the steamy engulfing move that I'd like to see for confirmation. So gold, even in class this morning, I am tracking this trade. I did not call it. I took some earlier entries, so I'm already in it from earlier. This is a scalp that I'm kind of holding on to. But overall, I'm looking for this to happen. So am I willing to take it right now? No. I'd like it to do more of a... Actually, that's a good point. I'm not going to mark this up. I'm just going to review it with you. Reason I'm not going to mark it up is because to stay true to form, I would need to define a location. And since I'm not going to define right here, I want the pullback and the confirmation. I'm not going to call this as a trade idea, even for the public discussion. So discussion only, track this trade. If and when it pulls back and confirms and we get a smaller time frame confirmation, I would be selling this down at least into this gapped area. Granted, there's a lot of interest rate news and a lot of stuff going on fundamentally. I still think we've got some bit of a pullback that needs to be paid for, so we'll see. But because of those interest rates, even tomorrow, I'm not playing with this. I'm not going to advise you to play with it either. Please wait for the pullback before you try to go mess with this. So for that reason, I'm going to make this purple. This way we know it is not part of the ones that we actually analyzed. It is not. We just marked it up so we can take a look together when we come back. Australian 200, on the other hand, I'm in love with. I am absolutely confident of. Here we go. We're going to put our buy perforated line right here at that fractal point. We've got our simplicity trade idea. We have pushed above. We've retested, and again, we pushed above again, and we're breaking and making a higher high. So on this double bottom that we've got here, potential other formations as well, just looking for a 1-to-1 is still going to give you a great, just looking for a measured move is still going to give you a great risk-to-reward ratio. So for example, here's where we're at. Here's our low, which is what, 2,000-ish pips plus the ATR. That's we'll round that up to 2250. Coming up into this range, which is just enough for that liquidity void. Right? Not a bad way to be. So that's your 1-to-1 right there. I'm looking for it to come up and kiss this area. Overall, great potential trade. Go to the bigger time frame. You'll get an idea. This is only one of the targets. So I'm looking for this to steam up, pull back, and break through. We'll see if we get it. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on interest rate wise. That was choppy. Let's try that again. That was choppy. I'm going to expect a reaction in this range. But overall, I'm looking for this to happen, to break this high. And we've got much, much more room than that. So beautiful trade idea. Beautiful, beautiful. So notice how much USD and how much Australian is on this board. Again, I'll say again and again and again, you cannot be over leveraged per currency. So please pick and choose. Maybe consider not being in every single one of these. Here's AUDJPY. We've made a nice move to the downside. We've got a ton of potential patterns here. We don't yet have the simplicity trade idea that's popping up just yet. But because I think it's one of the better trade setups currently, I'm still going to keep it on the board. We're going to get one eventually. So there's 2 weeks until our next call, right? In that time frame, much can happen. So for now, when we break out of this fractal, I'm willing to buy this up. Period, across the board. Willing to buy it up because my risk to reward is really good. It's probably one of the better ones on the whole board today. It's one of the better ones altogether, believe it or not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We gapped down. We've filled that gap, but now we've stayed really within this range. So I'm just looking for the explosive move to the top side, and we shall see. Last but not least is Australian 200. Let's give this a go. Here we are. Here's our buy idea. We plopped up, came down, really sprung out every single thing that we've got on the table, and now we're sitting right here. Beautiful head and shoulders, quite a few other formations as well. So before we go any further, let's just measure the head and shoulders for a second. It's 187 pips, 111 pips. So going off that measured move concept, that's going to bring us all the way into here. Even from where price is currently sitting, that is not a bad way to be at all. Makes it just a great trade. But overall, if I zoom out one more, we've got a lot more room than just that. So with that in mind, again, great risk to reward trade. I'm going to zoom all the way in. We're going to get our dotted line. We've retested the 50, so we've really broke out. We've come back to retest the 50. I'm going to place this at my next fractal. And of course, I want to double check because I write this stuff down on our little spreadsheet. Here's where we're at. This is 3:22 at 1 o'clock. That's the time that we're kind of marking this up together. So that's it, guys. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trade ideas in one discussion. So please go and track these trades. Consider going to do a demo account. Do what you've got to do. And try following these rules just for a couple of months. It'll take you 20 minutes twice a month. See what you can do with this skill set. Because this skill set, above anything else, all the social media and all the gurus and all the people out there having something else to pitch and something else to sell, this with nothing else, without me, without anybody, is something that you can learn and that no one can take from you. With the world at large going crazy and everybody terrified of the inflation and the prices and the smaller tax refunds that people are seeing, right? I just had a girlfriend over and she was saying, oh my goodness, this is different because last year's taxes were different. The credits are different. So even people who were counting on more money aren't getting that more money. So with that and everything else going on around the world, it's time to maybe make sure your financial future is in a good place, that you're just safe. You don't need a Maserati, but just financial freedom, right? You don't need a Gucci belt. You just need to be able to live a life where you get to decide where your time and your money goes, to where no one else is in charge of that. That's all. So hopefully this video is helpful. Hopefully you're following along. If you have not already done so, please make sure you click like, follow, and subscribe so YouTube does all the things that they're doing. And if you have not already done so, please make sure you sign up for a demo account with one of those brokers. I don't care which one, but just paper trade, demo trade. That means it costs you no money whatsoever. And practice this along with me. And don't get sidetracked. Just give it a couple of months to say, wait a minute, holy cow, I just turned this demo account from $5,000 into $25,000 and it's really only been like 7 weeks. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I can't wait to hear that story, so please make sure you're commenting and all that other good jazz. If there's certain topics you want covered specifically by me, please make sure you put them in the chats. And otherwise, happy trading, happy spring, and I will be back soon.